Welcome to Tarot and Tea with Stephanie. I'm Stephanie. This is Blazer the Morkie, and this is your weekly energy wave and intuitive tarot forecast. In this sacred space, we ride the crest of the cosmic waves to gain the guidance and wisdom of this week's currents. So grab your cup of tea, creators, get cozy, and let's chat. Welcome to Creators on the Crest, where we rise with the tide and align with the truth. Today we're going to start it off with a brief channeled message and a tea that I have chosen. My kids and I have been under the weather a little bit, and so I chose Elderflower Spice Tea as the tea for this week. And I really think this is going to assist so much with my own healing, but also the great dynamic protection and immune system vitality that elderberry and elderflower can bring. So grab your own cup of tea and join me. I'm fortunate enough to have a copy of the Herb Crafters Tarot, and I absolutely love this tarot deck. It helps me learn. I already know all the tarot meanings, but the plants and the herbs I'm still learning about. Definitely have connection to, as I think some of you do in past life instances where you were maybe working in an apothecary and working with herbs and tinctures and things like that. And some of you are doing that in this current lifetime as well. I really love that the elderflower and elderberry, which is represented just as elder in this deck, is also represented by the Four of Fire, which is this deck's representation of the Four of Wands. Now, before I get further into the energies that have been arising, one of the things that I want to talk about with the Four of Wands is that the Four of Wands is a representation of the protection that you place around your person and also around your passions. So some of you may be business owners, and that may have a layer of safety and security that needs to be there in order to protect you as you have interactions. As I feel into the energies, I sense that some of you may feel like you're being tested by other people, that you need to protect or hold sacred information about your mission, your purpose, your passions. This can also, though, have the effect where you are standing in the middle of what you have created and showing up as a steadfast and committed pillar for your community and for your clients and for the people around you. So in whatever way this particular energy manifests for you, one thing is for sure, it's about immunity, it's about security, safety, protection, and stability. The elderflower and the berry offer so much of this for us. The blossoms of the elderflower are not pictured very clearly in this particular card, but you see the dark berries. The blossoms are prevalent in the summer months, whereas the berries deepen and darken and then are collected for the fall harvest. Elderberry syrup is a very popular tincture that you can make for immunity. So if you do not have an allergy to elderberry or elderflowers or elder, the elder plant altogether, then I would highly recommend exploring this as an option for supporting the body during a time where there are a lot of interferences. I feel like this is going to come through in both the sense of we're talking about bacteria, we're talking about viruses, we're talking about other people, or these things traveling through and coming into your field from other people. The Four of Wands helps us stand steady in what we've created here. And don't be afraid to create. Don't be afraid to redirect your energy in this somehow. Don't be afraid to weave things a little bit differently if you feel like there's a place where you're feeling a bit vulnerable to some sort of attack, this may be a time for some of you where you do want to turn more inward and go deeper, like the dark elderberry, into ceremony, into safe spaces, not only in your home, but in yourself, right? And it's having that. If you do not have that in your life, if that is lacking, where you have these refuges where you can be and process your own energies and redirect and redefine energies, then maybe that is something that this message has found you to actually go ahead and begin creating for yourself. Some of you already have these spaces, or you have an altar, or you have a sacred place in nature that you go. That is changing somehow. Maybe some of you, instead of going on the normal trail you go on, you'll go on a trail that's closer to the water. Maybe you'll go sit at the bench out in front of the lake. There may be some redirection happening because there are an awful lot of energies going on around us. And it's up to us to come up with that secure, protective place within ourselves where we can be and process everything that's going on, knowing what to bring in to our sacred space and what to let remain on the outside of it. I'm going to read a little bit from the Herb Crafter's Tarot guidebook here about elder, and its scientific name is Sambucus nigra. Make a little magic, stir up a special ceremony. Holy helpers guide you and lend you power. Honor the beings who guard the liminal places. Create a safe space to make a little bit of magic. Elder provides protection from stormy weather to small creatures and also tender plants and places. It is a striking hedgerow plant steeped in mystical lore. Invoke the aid of the holy helpers like the crone who lives within the elder tree, guarding the portal between the land of the living and the realm of the dead. And isn't that interesting? Because at the time of this recording, it's Scorpio season, and we have that very thin veil going on right now. She appears in the frothy white blossoms of summer and the dark berries of fall. Practice the magical arts and move between the worlds. However, do so from a place of great protection. Hang elder bows above the door to your creative space to honor the threshold. Craft a wand of power. The creative process of making a magical tool is transformative. And make elderberry elixir. Offer it to your ancestors during a dark moon or the new moon and listen for guidance. So the book has a lot to offer, a lot of information about that. What I get first and foremost, if I were to break this down in the simplest terms, the energies that I'm picking up are that number one, shielding and protection of yourself and of your sacred space is paramount. So that's what you'll need to go into first, is making sure that you take care to protect yourself and your spaces. As you're going to see in the psychic weather, when I get to that near the end of this video, there is going to be a lot of turbulent times and a lot of turbulent energies that certain people are going to be caught up in. So the more you batten down the hatches and fortify your own energy, the better. So first and foremost, that protection and shielding. Then secondly, really connecting with your magic. That would be your inner creative force, with your passions. When we look at the Wands suit, it's all about passion and fire. It's what gets you excited. It's also about your sensuality and the things that make you feel warm. See if you can seek that out. It can be something as simple as a cozy blanket, your favorite robe, your favorite couch cushion that you love to sit on, your recliner, these kinds of things. And really not only just experiencing them as you do every day, but in spirit, experiencing them from a place of richness and a place of that warming, calming sensation. Lastly, when we're in this space where we can be more connected, more warm, more sensual, and we feel that safety, from there, we can begin to craft our magic. We can connect with that magic on a deeper level. We can take ourselves to the places we need to go within because we have set the stage, we have set the environment, and we have set ourselves in that protective place. Some of you are going to be spending this upcoming week really taking time to protect, to shield, setting up a safe space. This may involve some clearing for some of you. For others of you, it's a redirection or redetermining if a place is really serving you in the same way it once was. Of course, this will factor into relationships too. As I get next into the tarot reading itself, I think you're going to see that is going to be uncovered. Stay tuned. We will get into the actual tarot reading right now. Okay, creators, I hope you all have your tea. Get a little sip right there. I'll be working with the Tarot of the Night, or the Tarot de la Nuit in its French language there. This is a little bit darker deck. At the time that I am doing this reading, even though it is a timeless reading, it is anchored during a time where the veil is a little bit thin. We're in Scorpio season, things are a little bit darker. Trust that whenever this message, this part of the message has found you, it was meant to be. Today's spread is going to be one that I made up before I started recording, and I call it the tornado spread here. And we're going to be looking into some different aspects of things. I just wrote this up on the paper. This is the first time I've done this kind of a spread, but I think it really is going to assist us in understanding more of the dynamics of who we are, both the shadow and the light, and give us some insight to relationships and what we have to look forward to as well. Keeping in mind, these are general readings, so it may not resonate for everyone. I guarantee you in all the videos on the Creators on the Crest channel, you will find the right one for you. Always trust your intuition when it comes to these messages. Your greater being knows what to receive and what to leave behind. Trust that inner guidance system of yours. Okay, we're going to go through the actual spread with the cards I pulled. Then we're going to do some clarifiers. And since this is a tornado spread, we're going to do it a little differently. Bear with me as we take a look into what is circulating for us right now. We're going to start off the first card with ground level. So if you imagine like a tornado funnel goes up and it spreads out into those big clouds, we're at ground level. What is our current situation? What are we aiming for? What are we working to embody? We got the 10 of Pentacles. And oh, it's just so cool to see this empowering character standing here. Definitely dark, reminds me of the darkness, the deep fruit, the elderberry that came up in the channeled message. This is feeling that things are coming together, or desiring, wanting things to come together, embracing things, knowing that yes, things are being woven. In one hand, she's actually holding a thread of red yarn here, and that would indicate to me that work is being done. You're doing the things, you're taking the efforts you need to take. You're doing so in a very rooted way, with that being the color red and having some red come into different aspects of this picture here, much like the elderberry. Juxtaposed to that, we have her purple hair, that connection to the crown. This is a really good representation of that root to crown kind of connection in what we're going for. It doesn't mean we have it before us right now. We may want this. This 10 of Pentacles energy could represent what we're desiring right now. Our current situation is what we're looking for, right? It's what we either have before us or what we're looking for. When I look at this card and I see the movement and I see the raven, there's a lot of information coming in right now about this energy. And at the same time, it might be hard to, or difficult to create something out of it. So there may be a little bit of frustration energy there of like, it's all here, I'm doing all the things, but not everything is coming together like I thought, or even as I would wish it to, based on my inputs. We're also being challenged here. She's in kind of an interesting position, and I think she's sitting up on a log a little bit in kind of this strange position with one leg down and one leg kind of bent up. You may really feel like you're trying to do a balancing act with everything right now, and that you're not very successful with that. And the reason that that probably comes into the next position here. So we have our ground level where we're grounded in our current situation where we're at. And then we see that that funnel starts to connect to the earth from that tornado cloud, right? Those tornadic clouds. And that funnel comes down and oh boy, it picks us up. Our challenge right now is the Five of Pentacles. 5 is a number of conflict and challenge. If you imagine a 5-pointed star being pulled into the edges, being pulled into areas of discomfort, intentionally, universally, yes, because you are being asked to grow yourself here. What you may have thought you wanted, or the way things were going to grow and go, did not go that way. This has left you feeling a bit vulnerable, a bit cold. I feel a bit of a distant energy, like something unresolved within, where you may be trying to get the higher wisdom on what is the gap here? What is the problem? How come I'm secure and grounded in what I have been doing? I feel like I'm pulling all the right levers, and yet I still feel this bit of lack, this bit of vulnerability. And the Five of Pentacles can also represent just that, the deepmost layers of our subconscious, unconscious realm where we harbor unresolved or unaddressed lack mentality, vibrational energies. Okay, these can come from family. This can come from society. We have picked this up along the way. For some of you, this is connected in some sort of parallel universe or parallel expression. Okay, so there's other expressions of yourself that you're connected to that are going through this. But that also means there's other parallel versions of yourself that are not connected, that have learned how to free up this energy of lack, betrayal, being left out, being put out, not part of something, or not being able to bring all the parts of your vision together. So there is that bit of challenge here. And I would say, you're feeling pulled into that. My best advice on this right now is not to avoid that energy. See if you can lean into that a little bit, go a little bit deeper. It really feels like something wants your attention out of your subconscious. And so asking it, what do you want? That can be a very simple thing you could do. What do you want? Because I'm ready to put my vision together. So I need to know what you need to feel healed, brought to wholeness, safe, so that I can move forward. The next part of the journey in our little tornado here is that dark shadow, right? Those black clouds, those ominous clouds that seem to somehow morph into that green color, and they're just coming. They're coming across the plane. In our shadow is where our blind spots often are hidden, and we got the Five of Swords. There's conflict here, conflict on the subconscious level. And one of the things I want to say about this conflict, though, that feels different than maybe other readings I've done, this conflict, rather than needing to be healed, okay, because I really feel like a lot of you have done so much healing that you're like, just let me bump my head against the wall because I've done all kinds of levels of healing. I've done the shadow work. I'm not ignoring anything. But rather than the approach of there's something here I need to heal, I feel more that this is something that needs to be brought into wholeness, that needs to be reintegrated rather than released and pushed away. And so there may be some of you feeling that little tug of war. The initial feeling sometimes when we become aware of something subconscious or unconscious is to feel the discomfort and get pulled into that challenging area within ourselves. And then our mind, with the swords energy here, that's the mind energy that's connected to the air element, it starts going places with these things. It almost feels like for some of you, you could get a bazillion past life regressions, and you could look at your Akashic records, and you could do all this inner work, right? And you could talk to your friends till you're blue in the face about this. But until this piece is integrated, and it's reminding me, she's holding like a crystal shard here. Almost looks like an ice pick. It's kind of scary. It's kind of ominous because she looks like she's getting ready to attack, but it's reminding me of the crystal shard that was broken away from the main big crystal in the dark crystal, and she is on a journey to replace it. That's that reintegration I was talking about. And if you've seen the original movie, The Dark Crystal, or the reimagined series, you will know what I'm talking about. If you can imagine a whole crystal and then having a fractured or fraction of it come out and get disintegrated, right? Disintegrated, not into its respective elements all the way down, but separated from the main crystal. And I feel like this is the process that's in our shadows. And if we keep tackling it from the perspective of, I need to heal this, I need to release this, then we're probably going to not have much success with it. Moving on to what's being illuminated. So, let's lighten things up. Let's get a sip of tea. Because sometimes things get a little heavy. Many times in the tornado, when the energy is swirling and you've got the dark clouds, there'll be these times where the lightning just illuminates and you can see the funnel. Like sometimes there's so much darkness you can't even see it, right? It's just all this rain and things coming down, debris flying around. But then those moments where the lightning strikes, the illumination that is coming through is actually coming through in the Nine of Pentacles. And look at the lightness, the lighter color of this card even. This is what's being illuminated for us, and it comes back to our power. The Ten of Pentacles is where we want to be. And it may be what we're on our way to and what we're weaving right now, but have we really stayed with the energy of the Nine of Pentacles to actually feel the power within us? And if we've been trying to heal and release this aspect of ourselves that wants to be integrated because it's contributing to feeling left out, to the lack mentality, to these versions of ourselves that are reaching but can never quite grasp what we want, the Nine of Pentacles reminds us of our power. And this does not have to be power in the sense of taking power over people or any kind of misuse of power. This is more how you establish power within yourself. And so there's this missing pinnacle between the 9, what's being illuminated, and the 10 of where you want to be. Some of you have just stepped over this, and you didn't do it intentionally. You just didn't know what to do with the energy or where to place it. So for some of you, this is taking a step back, which if you listen to the channeled message and you really took time to create that sacred safe space, you're stepping back into that space then to redirect, reintegrate so you can then move forward. And that's what's being illuminated here, is a reminder, revisit to our actual embodied power. And for some of you, that may be easier to look at as your light body. The shard from the crystal, the small shard, needs to be placed back in where it came out so that the crystal can be whole and reintegrated again. Now we're going to peer into, when we have a tornado, all these energies are swirling around, as you might know. what's really interesting is there's going to be flashes of the past, glimpses of the future, so in your current situation where, hey, I'm just trying to anchor in the Ten of Pentacles, that can be a little challenging. Looking into the aspect of the past, connection, and what we're resolving, we got the Angel of the Night. Some of you may have been shadow looping a little bit, maybe looking a little bit too hard into, oh, I've got to heal this. Now I've got to heal that. Yes, I have this problem. Yes, I have that. That's shadow work. I got to keep shadow working this till the end of time kind of feeling with this Angel of the Night. This is a bonus card in this deck. It really brings us face to face with our own darkness, our own shadows. Some of you may feel like there is something from the past here that haunts you, that is pulling the strings of your present self, maybe through the subconscious, unconscious realm. So you feel this pull back. I do think the Angel of the Night wants attention, but if you give her too much, you'll get sucked into the past energies and you won't be able to pull yourself into the future, what's opening up for you and actually taking some movement. Nowhere in this reading right now am I seeing anything move super fast. So this is also going to require you to have resilience and patience as you take these steps with whatever you're working on. Okay, some of you are working on the parts of your life where it's about your career, your passion, your purpose, right? Others of you, it's establishing better relationships with yourself, with one another. Yet others of you, this has to do with resolving things from past lives, things that are coming to closure or have come to closure. Have some things come to closure for some of you that you haven't yet acknowledged. And so your body is holding on to a vibrational frequency of something that's already closed. Kind of like that sense of you've healed enough, like enough healing. Let's actually go move on to integration now. And then take actions accordingly with these new energies. Then we look to, from the Angel of the Night, de la Nuit, we look over here at where we're headed and the momentum that's carrying us into the future, and we got the Knight of Pentacles. This card came up several times in my last Frequency Friday that I did prior to recording this, and it was one in which I was going through on screen a migraine headache and pushing through and really trying to stick with the excitement and the support of the community as they provided me so much love and understanding in the live chat. This Knight of Pentacles takes a moment with that. The Knight of Pentacles is more strategic. First, we're going to look at, if we can first acknowledge we have closed something, we have healed something, we're giving our body, the pentacles, the earth, right, that earth energy in our body, connected to our body, a chance to catch up and be like, oh yeah, that is closed. I don't need to go shadow looping into that energy anymore. I'm actually here now, and it's about integrating and embodying the mastery of what I've learned. I just need to give myself a chance to get to know myself and then move accordingly. Now, the Knight of Pentacles, Knights represent motion, but the Knight of Pentacles represents steady, slow, forward momentum. All right, so it is forward momentum, but we're going to take it slow and steady in this newly embodied state for ourselves. It does feel like these upcoming energies are a bit of a pause for us, but much needed. One that I would suggest not to skip over. And I'm going to tell you something interesting that happened. This is my first time doing the spread, and it's an 8-card spread, and I only pulled 7 cards. And the card that I did not pull was relationships. So real quick, let me pull us a relationships card here. How interesting. Oh, I can see why I failed to pull a relationship position card, because we got the 8 of Swords. I'm going to say for some of you, this does have to do with yourself and your relationship to yourself, and the mental exhaustion that you could be feeling from all this, because what I'm addressing here in this spread is not basic beginner level stuff, right? If you've stumbled upon this reading, this is more advanced inner work, okay? Advanced magical work that you are doing with your own energies. And the Eight of Swords is a self-imposed energy. It's an energy of feeling trapped, and I even think I'm seeing like a little Venus flytrap right here. It's that energy where we're trapped and we're doing it to ourselves. Some of you are feeling trapped in relationships as well. So those of you that are in connections and that has been your focus, there may be an aspect of the connection that has stagnated and you feel a bit trapped, unable to move into the energy. Maybe it has to do with your energies, maybe it has to do with your partner or how they combine together. And so you're having a little trouble moving forward with that. Others of you will feel the stagnation in the arena of, I've given up on dating, I need to take a step back, this is just way too stressful for me, I'm finding myself not running into the right kind of people, and so this is a time of, I'm feeling exhausted, I'm feeling trapped, and I don't know which way to turn. I'm looking forward to getting some clarity on this because she is actually laying on a clock, or the face of a clock in stone, it looks like. So I really feel like we do have a timing issue here, and maybe some of you, when it comes to your relationship to yourself, you think, oh, I should be further along. Oh, wait, did Stephanie say I am further along, but I just haven't integrated all that into my body yet? Yes, that could be it as well. And so there is that bit of tug of war within you, because you're actually someplace that you're not giving yourself credit for. That could factor into relationships with partners as well. I do sense for a group of you that there are some things hidden that you already know about, but I would call them hidden because it's those things we don't talk about, we don't address, or we haven't addressed for a while that need to be addressed in your partnerships. So that's just, I'm going to put that out there for those of you. Do with it what you will. Follow your intuition with that. As we rise above the tornado here, and we go to kind of that satellite, imagery that we see sometimes from that higher perspective, what is the best outlook and the highest vision for us? And we got the Ace of Pentacles. Look at this card up close here. Very poignant, very powerful, but also speaking to what comes after the storm and destruction. And acknowledging, you will see that she has almost like on one side of her face, maybe blood. There's acknowledgement of sacrifice here. Certain things had to break down for others to come about. Yet we meet this with determination and with intensity because we know that this is the portal that we must pass through. This is our new beginning. This is seeing the forest through the trees. This is seeing, oh, I am in a place of more mastery than I'm even giving myself credit for here. Today's reading is going to be super cool and different in the sense that I'm going to clarify with one tarot card and one oracle card from the messages from the animal spirit guides, because when I was thinking about tornadoes and other natural disasters, I was thinking about how good animals are at sensing things because they're really connected in with their primal energies. And it's those primal energies that I believe some of us are really working on reconnecting to, letting those inform us inside of the depths of our body. I also feel like some of you have been sensing this in your body. It feels kind of like a quaking kind of energy, so I'm just going to throw that out there. That will be for those who it's meant to be for. I'm going to go ahead and get the animal cards out now. I just pulled the tarot cards for each one, and I want to get the animal cards, and then we'll go deeper here into the clarifications. Let me know in the comments what you think about this reading and the tornado spread. I'd love to hear it. I mean, I just wanted to do a different spread. I do a lot of Celtic Cross. I've done the Ankh Tarot spread, which is kind of like a Celtic Cross derivative. But today I was just really sensing like, oh, it's time to do something different here. I chose to create my own spread. And I am really looking forward to using the animal oracle here as well. Okay, but I want to know what you think, all right? Because it is a little different. For our 10 of Pentacles that we had at the beginning, the place we want to be, the completeness we want to feel, our desires, how we're setting things up, how we're weaving, we got the 9 of Wands to go with that. So there's that cautious energy. Am I doing this right? Why isn't this working out the way I thought? I have all these things in line, yet I still feel beat up by this part of the journey. And why aren't things going faster? And we got the road runner here. Keep your sense of humor. Don't take things so seriously. And how important is that to do right now with how deep you've gone into your subconscious and unconscious and how much you are working on integrating? Can you lean into a little bit of fun, a little bit of jokey energy, even when you go more internal and you're creating sacred and protected spaces for you to do this work? Can you pull up out of those shadows and maybe you even need to watch the cartoon like the Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote, just like cheesy, funny, put on your favorite funny movie, put on something that makes you laugh. What kind of humor do you like? Watch your favorite comedian. Get a little bit more joy rolling. This is a much brighter energy coming in here, and the Roadrunner moves quickly toward that energy. It might just be the right elixir for us in dealing with some of these heavier energies. No matter what your situation, no matter how much lack you're feeling or so much strain, stuckness in your relationship, you're meant to listen to the sweet sound of music, to listen to children laughing, to have some puns and jokes handy, and just enjoy life. We're not meant to suffer through this experience. So we've seen some of the heaviness in the Roadrunner. The lightness on the feet pulls us up and out of that energy. Get a breather there. Enjoy it. Now we know we're being challenged by the 5 of Pentacles. That lack, that betrayal. It's like, oh, this heavy energy. It's been buried deep in my subconscious. Yeah, maybe I brought closure to it, but maybe I still need to. And the Queen of Cups comes up with this and she says, my darling, you have to love yourself through this. No matter what challenge or conflict or how uncomfortable you feel, your job is to stay steady by yourself. Go into your heart for yourself and let yourself know that you love her, that you love him, that you will not leave your own side in all of this. The Queen of Cups is that idealistic, unconditional love. Can you offer that to yourself? Let's not worry right now because we're in a challenged position here. Let's not worry about unconditional love toward everyone else with all the energies that we're feeling. Can we give a little bit of unconditional love to ourselves? Maybe there's a version of your inner child that would like to step up and you would like to embrace him or her and bring them closer to your heart. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate. Don't make it too heavy. The Queen just naturally does that. So it's whatever comes into your heart or mind, and embrace that and pull it in and love it. Loving what the conflict has taught you. Remember, we're also talking about those of you that have already achieved something, but your body's catching up. So loving yourself through this last bit of challenge where you actually are stepping into alignment completely and from a physical perspective. And then to clarify that from the animal world, we got the peregrine falcon. Act on the opportunity that's before you and commit to it without equivocation. This isn't a time for us to continue to second guess, to continue to shadow loop through things. We are meant to have this bird's eye view here. We are meant to commit to what we are going to catch. For us to make that dive directly toward what we want, we are going to have to take a different kind of action than we did before. What is before us now is not what was before us before, and it certainly isn't comfortable. It's challenging us. It's a different kind of action now. And this is something I'm also personally working on, because what I've been doing is too much in my comfort zone. How can I act and move differently? And I'm beginning to do that in places first where I feel safe, because for me personally, I'm a Cancer with a Taurus moon. I like to feel super safe when I'm making movements. So I have that little extra layer. Some of you may have that as well. But this is about finding at least one place where you can make a different kind of move. You're going to move differently than you did before. Because why? Because you've actually completed something and integrated something, but your body is catching up to it. If your natural comfort zone is to always go to the tea or coffee shop where everybody knows your name and they greet you and they make it up just right, maybe you're going to go to that new coffee shop or tea shop. Maybe you're going to go to the one down the street that's a little different. Give them a try. Maybe you're going to meet somebody there, right? You're going to take a different move than you normally would. You're blending in these actions where you intentionally are going out of your comfort zone. For the shadow spot where we have that 5 of Swords, where that piece of that crystal needs to be reintegrated to the larger crystal, we got the 10 of Wands, because the burden here is you think you need to release something and heal it. You think you need to take this crystal and throw it into a big chasm somewhere and destroy it forever, when really it needs to be reintegrated. That doesn't mean the feelings that you have around this aren't scary or intense or, dare I say, overwhelming. Yeah, if you remember the dark crystal, you remember the little gelflings have to get the shard of the crystal back in and reintegrate it. That reintegration comes with great peril and challenge. So there is that there. And if you keep blocking yourself to that fact and staying blinded to that fact, right? Because remember, this is the blind spot. What better representation of a blind spot, the shadow blind spot, than the 10 of Wands? No, I don't need to see where I'm going. I'll just try to replace this shard. Maybe I'll just toss it that direction, hope it lands in the crystal. No. What you're going to be doing is tapping more into that primal energy. Remember, your body is catching up to something that you've already spiritually, mentally, emotionally completed. So we're going to embrace the shark energy here. This is where the instincts come in, and we're going to get a little sharper here, and we're going to trust those instincts to discern the truth, okay? The truth of the situation. What's really going on here? What I need to integrate. We're going to trust it with those shark-like instincts. Humans and sharks do not move similarly, right? Some of you may feel a bit predatory, but you're being predatory toward what it is that needs to be integrated and the shortest path to integrating it. So you want the shortest path to that goal. How powerful is that? That even in our darkest blind spots, our instincts, we can go from what we mentally know and more of that intuitive lean into the instincts, and let our instincts, it could be senses, really reaching out with those. There's a really wise and informative part of Lord of the Rings where they are in the mines of Moria. They are in these caves, and they're caves that in the mountain, a part of the mountain that Gandalf the wizard has been to before. But he comes to this part where he says, I have no memory of this place. And they sit, and the Fellowship of the Ring sits with him, and he's trying to remember, and he's reciting old passages, and it's taking time, and they're just having to sit and wait until he remembers which tunnel to walk through. And finally he says, oh, And they're like, oh, he's remembered. And he says, no, but the air doesn't smell as foul down here. And so he picks the tunnel where the air actually smells better. He followed his instincts, right? This is what being a wizard is about. You're able to get yourself to that place. You factor through all of the things that you would logically and intuitively need to, and then you rely on your instincts when needed. What's being illuminated with this redirect back to the Nine of Pentacles? Look here, we got the Fool energy. What's being illuminated is the lightness, the lightness that the Roadrunner wants us to have in our energies. It's that place where we can take the leap. And we take the leap mind, body, and soul. We don't leave the body behind here. Every bit of aspects of who I am is going off that cliff. I'm going to travel light, and I'm going to trust that I can build my wings on the way down if my chute doesn't open. The Nine of Pentacles, with it being a card of power and empowerment, absolutely 110% or more, speaks to this energy. Take the leap. Trust your power in this. And the animal guide that we got to go along with this is the blue heron. Make a stand for what you believe in and do what feels right in spite of any judgment or disapproval from others. Now there it is. There's the little trick to all this. This is being illuminated because another version of you is stepping forth and becoming embodied. And some people are back here dealing with the other version of you, and maybe that's part of what's been holding you on to not fully integrating into your full embodied state with these lessons, with that shard of the crystal that needs to be reintegrated. But Blue Heron comes in and says, no, you're going to stand, Nine of Pentacles, in your power, in the work you've done, acknowledging. And you're going to trust, you're going to take that trust fall, that leap into exactly where you need to be, mind, body, and soul, regardless of someone else can handle it or not. The past, what we've connected to in the past, we had the Angel of the Night, and feels good that she's coming up with the Nine of Cups. We have the Nine of Pentacles and the Nine of Cups. Again, this is that place of there is something that you have brought emotional fulfillment to. Your body may not be fully aware that you have healed that. All right? Your body is like the cells in your body are catching up to the emotional energies from the past that you've already resolved. They're showing up now, they're lining up now for integration here. That's a good feeling. That's a sense of pride, that's a sense of accomplishment. Some of you may have found yourself feeling so good in the emotional stability that you've created for yourself through all the work you've done that you just want to hold on to that emotion a little bit longer, right? Like you're just enjoying that Nine of Cups. You're like, oh, but I'm vibing here. You might be getting a little comfortable in that energy. But we're being asked to trust ourselves here with the Camel energy. Trust that you have the resources to get you through the challenges before you. You're going to set off on a journey. A camel is a pack animal. It's going to travel long distances through the desert. And it's well resourced. So you're coming out of the past, moving into the future. You don't have to be super fast. It doesn't have to be a spitting match as you go, right? You can enjoy moving these energies out of the past and fully integrating them. But you are moving out of that darkness. And the movement is what's going to actually anchor and align that in your actual physical body. Some of you may want to use movement as a tool. Particularly, I'm just getting forward walking, just walking forward, just pounding that pavement with the feet. Just that forward momentum alone does so much for you symbolically. And it's training your body that, look, it's safe to move forward into this energy. Bicycling also, I feel for some of you might be a more preferred way to go. For the Knight of Pentacles and what's coming up in the future, which indicates more of that slow and steady movement wins the race, we got the Page of Swords. Why not be inquisitive with yourself about this? Why not just say, let's have a little fun here? I know that I don't yet know how I'm really going to be showing up in these new energies, and I know that other people are going to feel real unsteady about this. And at the same time, I am trusting the foundation on which I walk, my relationship to the earth, the embodiment that I am feeling, and I don't have to hide. The Page of Swords is the kind of character who's going to go ahead and go and do something, even if they look immature or foolish or make a mistake or fall down. They're a learner. And this is representative of you learning on your path. You may not feel like you're in the King of Swords energy as you travel forward. That may be some of the reason you're taking it a little slow and steady. And at the same time, we allow ourselves a little grace. If we have a misstep, we're learning. You learn from yourself and you learn from other people, but you're not going to learn unless you take the steps, unless you create that forward momentum. And we got Peacock as the animal guide. Let yourself stand out and be noticed. Let yourself be noticed. This new version of you that you're integrating into your body, let it be noticed by yourself in the mirror, by your closest relations, the people around you, by your greater online community. Let yourself stand out. Let yourself be noticed. Let this beautiful new version of you unfold, regardless if someone else is used to an older version of you. The time of stressing about relationship matters is coming to an end. We got the Ten of Swords. Some of you, this might mean endings in certain relationships or friendships. Now remember, endings can also come with new beginnings. It doesn't mean the relationship itself is over. It just means entry into a new way of being. Now, of course, everyone in that dynamic has to be on board with experiencing it differently. So you're going to have to know the difference here about what's actually going on in your relationships and who can handle letting something come to an end. Maybe it's a codependent dynamic that you hold with someone. Maybe it's an ongoing disagreement or grudge that hasn't been let go of. The parties involved have to agree to move beyond this, to let it end, so that something new can come alive in the relationship. And if there is a party that will not do that, then it could mean the end to the relationship. Now, for some of you, this is your relationship to yourself has a whole new image. You've redefined this. You're walking side by side with yourself instead of leaving parts of you behind. You're connecting with those parallel versions of yourself that have already figured out how to embrace abundance and wealth, how to seek out higher octaves of relationships. And our animal guide here is the snow leopard. Take some time out of your usual life and spend it in solitude, if need be. Space and solitude, I feel, in this reading and what I'm sensing going on in the energies, is actually a gift. It may be uncomfortable for some. You may feel the need to create that space for yourself in honoring of yourself and where you know the evolution of the relationship or dynamic is going. And others may feel very uncomfortable with that. And that's okay. So there may be some distance here. There may be some separation, but that does not mean it has to be bad. This is for our growth, our evolution. Now, where we're headed, the best outlook. So as we're looking and we're seeing and we're able to predict where the storm is going, where this tornado is going, we got the Ace of Pentacles, of course, right? And the sacrifice involved there in creating the new beginning for ourselves. And we got the Two of Cups. Here's a gift. And the gift is a higher octave of relationships, partnerships, meeting from the heart. Instead of a meeting of the minds, this feels more like a meeting from the heart space, a real shared and cared about version of our relationship with someone, or with many someones, or in our friendships, or how we partner with a parent or a sibling or a child, through the heart. And that's what's going to help with that momentum as we move forward and understanding where things are going. Our little animal guide here is the weasel. Be silent, pay attention, and simply observe with your eyes, ears, and physical feelings what is happening inside and all around you. When you're doing this, invoking those sensory inputs and outputs, the smells, the touch, what you're seeing, what you're observing, what you hear, what you're experiencing in the vibrational energies around you, that's those instincts coming up again. And that's the other gift we're getting out of this reading, out of these energies and navigating these energies and being willing to let go the healing and actually do the embodiment now. And this is the weasel. So it kind of reminds me of the Fool energy that we got in our what's being illuminated in the from the lightning. It kind of reminds me of that fresh, innocent energy, maybe a bit naive, but operating on the senses as well, operating on the instincts, moving around, looking at things from different angles. How do things taste, touch, smell? Put them through those tests. Put them through the smell test, the touch test. That is where we want to be going in a more instinctual way. And that's what we're being gifted as we rise up and see, oh, that's what all of this has been about. One more note for those of you dealing with relationships. If you find yourself having physical illness around someone, like you get sick to your stomach, that's another instinctual kind of vibe that you're picking up, or you're dizzy around someone all the time. Pay attention to those energies. It can even be when you're interacting online. It doesn't have to be in person. It might be more palpable in person, but pay attention to how you feel instinctually. Don't leave those indicators out of what's informing you right now. Okay, I want to bring this whole reading into a grounded place with the Earth Warriors Oracle here. So let's do that, and then we're going to get also a rune to close off the reading today. Wow, what a powerful one it was. I am going to do a little referencing to the book because there are some beautiful words around the Earth Warriors, who are the actual healers of this world, that we can tap into their energies and bring those energies into our physical body. And what's really interesting is the number we got, because it's a number that you see used a lot. Pay attention, you'll see this number used a lot in the inverted energies in the world. 33. And this is a reclamation of the highest octaves of those numbers, first of all, is what I'll say, and how we achieve success and freedom through this. And we got Intikana, the child of light. I'm going to hold this up, and I would like to read a little bit about Intikana. There is a divine light that does not cast a shadow, nor does it cast judgment, even though it reveals truth. A truth that is sometimes hard to acknowledge and requires that we change our ways. True divine light is healing, unifying, and brings hope as it illuminates the way. Other sorts of light exist on this planet that are not so pure, nor so helpful. Those sorts of light may appear stunningly bright, or even like have a cold blue tone. You guys know what I'm talking about, the inorganic light, all that deception energy, all that new age stuff. Yet, in effect, they create separation and increase ego. You can recognize genuine divine presence not by how dazzling it may appear at first, but by what your devotion to that divine light evokes in your heart, in your world, and I'll also say in your body. And look at that beautiful card there. I feel freedom when I look at this card. Evolutionary freedom. We've got the dream catcher We've got the protection, and we've got the protection of the subconscious being spoken to here with that. We've got the moon phases. We've got the monarch butterfly spreading its wings. We've got the person in this card, vulnerable yet trusting and reaching up into the cosmos and touching that cosmic pool as they anchor on the earth with the heart open. Anytime you're in an arched back position, so those of you that are yogis, that camel pose would be a wonderful heart opener. Heart opening yogic poses would also be very helpful. Let's get a rune too from my little rune bin here. Oh, I'm going down for this one. We got Gebo, and looks like a big X, Gebo. Gebo is a gift. It's about connection. It's about how we exchange with one another. It could also represent, in the tone of this reading, how you exchange your energies between your insights, your intuition, and your instincts. So think about relationship to self with this as well. It does represent balance in partnerships and interactions. And it also speaks to contracts and the way that we must face crossroads to come into a balanced place. Gebo is a beautiful rune to acknowledge the exchange that takes place between you and the parallel versions of you, you and your greater being. You are a multidimensional creator being. There are many aspects to you, and you're exchanging information and energies with those aspects all the time, as well as those around you and outside of you, and how they reflect in energetic exchange to you. So taking a look at that level of energies as well. So the affirmation I have for you with Gebo is, I now bring all my exchanges into balance. I now bring all my exchanges into balance. So I'll leave you with that powerful statement, but stay tuned because there is still the psychic weather forecast coming up, and you don't want to miss that. Welcome to the Psychic Weather Forecast. We're going to explore the energies that are cresting, the energies that are calming, and speak a little bit about the astrology angle. Now, the reason I think you're really going to resonate with the final weather forecast here is because this is a time of intense and rapid change. As you may have guessed already, our psychic weather forecast is a tornado. November 4th through the 11th, for the time that I'm looking into the psychic weather, this is a very intense time. We have a lot of rapid transformation going on. A lot of energies are moving, but they also require us to go into deep reflection. So you're going to see that things feel very potent. We're coming up on Mars entering Sagittarius on November 4th. So that's that action and passion that gets ignited. But it has an opposition to Uranus, and that can lead to impulsive decisions. Something to watch out for if you're really trying to bring finances into balance, or your work life into balance, work and home life, getting those two balanced out. That's going to be up for us. And then we have the full moon in Taurus, which is a super moon, coming in on November 5th. This is taking you into some of those warmer comfort zones, the very places that you may be also drawn to pull yourself out of, or you have something happen that pulls you out of that, or you feel the interferences external to you. This is a good time, though, to focus on security, your self-worth, protection, and shielding. Remember, because we're in tornado energies, all sorts of energetic debris is flying around, and you don't want to just catch anything into your energetic field. You want to be very mindful to have shielding and shelter shelter during this next week. You may be in that creator mindset and heart set, but there's a lot of people out there that aren't, that are swirling in the drama vortexes of the tornado. You don't want to be picking up that energy and allowing it to get into your zone. This might also be a good time to reset and redraw boundaries with people, especially people who you feel have maybe tried to nudge or push those boundaries. That's what's cresting. We're being called to deepen our boundaries and our resolve around holding those boundaries, as well as shielding and protection. What else is cresting? Well, we have Venus entering Scorpio on November 6th. This is lots of passion, intense sexual encounters. This can take on a very emotionally deep kind of vibrational energy and frequency. So just prepare for that. And if that's something that's coming up for you, I think it's going to be much more deep than superficial. So do keep that in mind. This is not a time to just be going out and having a casual fling with someone. That does not feel like it would go very well with the energies here. There could be some deep things stirred up or some deep problems that arise out of that type of behavior. Be much more mindful. Remember, we want to be in a stable and protected space during this time. We want to be in our safe shelter and be able to experience what's going on and having the knowledge of it without being drawn into the drama vortex. Then we get Mercury retrograding on November 9th, and that's where communication and our attempts to travel and the emails don't go through, and you know, someone didn't get the text until 3 days later, and we might have some of those blackouts and internet outages. Amazon might go down and whatnot. These kind of glitches might be seen as well during that time. And by the time I come back around to you again with the next tarot and tea, Jupiter will be stationing retrograde in Cancer. Let's look into that grand water trine that's going on right now, because that's where I feel the calming energies are until maybe the 11th there, which also is like 1111 portal, right? So that's a whole other tarot and tea. But for this go around, for this next week, I think you can find some solace in that water grand trine with Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancerian energies. That's where you're going to find the moments of calm, but also in those spaces where you feel the most warmth and comfort. Because remember, that Taurus full moon wants to be comfortable. The Taurus energy is also very much around the body. If you are working to integrate, we want to take care with that. This isn't about jolting your physical system. What wants to calm is your nervous system. We're going to bring the nervous system into a calm place. Think how you can affect the psychic weather that's tornadic better than actually bringing your nervous system into that calm. You're going to imagine like floating in the water, very calm. There might be some real gentle waves, but this is not the big crashing waves. This is just the nice gentle ebb and flow of the water. This is the trickling of the stream. And it's those kinds of energies where you're going to find peace and calm. A really great week for having a bath or doing a salt flotation, or for everyone to hydrate yourself. It's actually a lovely time to catch some of these more watery energies. I'm even imagining some people using like catching rain and repurposing that, whether that's something you can physically do or that's something that you're energetically doing. That's where we can use this psychic weather pattern to our advantage. Now, just a few things to watch out for with some of these transits and the power and the intensity of Scorpio season and the full moon energies and then the Mercury retrograde. For people who are caught up in the tornadic influences and the drama vortexes, they're going to be trying to grab something to hold on to. Do not let them grab you. Know where your boundaries are. Reset, maintain those boundaries, reinforce those boundaries if you need to. It is not your responsibility to anchor everyone who is spiraling, okay? That takes a lot of structure, that takes a lot of discipline, that takes a lot of healthy dynamics, and some people are really going to be swirling in the drama rather than in the alignment and the grounding energies of Taurus. So do watch out for that with other people. And that's our psychic weather for November 5th through the 11th. Toto, we're not in Kansas anymore. Creators, if today's wave brought you clarity, like and share this video with your spiritual circle. Check out more ways to connect with me in the description. Be sure to set your notification bell to all notifications so you never miss a tarot and tea or one of my weekly lives. Stay tuned, stay true, and keep creating.